So we're always hearing about dependency on foreign oil. Well, one of the possible solutions could be the sun.
And it could be car companies will get an assist from college students. The American Solar Challenge puts their work on display.
And Roger Coffee is an engineer with HDR. Good to have you here,
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
This is really cool because so lay out the American Solar Challenge. What is this?
Well, the American Solar Challenge is a timed cross-country race put on by the Education Foundation, and they have cars come up through on the race, and
Texas to Minnesota, basically.
Texas to Minnesota. That's correct.
So these cars, would you tell us a little bit about them? How does the solar technology work? How fast can they go?
Well, as you said, it's all solar powered. There is no auxiliary power, and they can get up to 90 or 100 miles an hour on a test track. They can only go speed limits on the road.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, that's the case.
So in theory, is this technology, as we said, that Detroit could end up using one day?
Yeah, you never know where the technology will go with solar cells and solar power.
How far away are we? Because as we're looking at some of these pictures, they're one-seaters. Not ideal for packing the family up, throwing them in the back.
Car seats won't fit in one of these.
So we're a little ways off. I mean, do you envision this in the next 10, 15, 20 years? Or?
They keep coming up with different ideas with the cars. Minnesota had a race. They did one in Australia. They had a two-seater. So these are all one-seaters that are coming up now. But yeah, they keep developing the technology.
How many teams are there? You mentioned Minnesota, a few other.
Well, they started out with 20, starting through the testing down in Austin. I think there's anywhere from 8 to 10 that are actually doing the race.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams that participate in the Solar Challenge, but yeah, like you said, 8 to 10 that are in the race. And then what do they have to do to get these cars ready for the race? Anything special? How do they prep for this?
Well, they have to go through, it's an extensive 3-day testing period called scrutineering when they reach Texas.
Right.
And so there's like 8 different stations they have to go through: mechanical tests, electrical tests, structural tests. They test the drivers to make sure that they can handle the car properly. And then they go through dynamic testing to make sure the car is stable. They go through figure 8s and stopping tests. And so it's pretty extensive. And then after the scrutineering, well, then they have 3 days of testing on what they call the Formula Sun Grand Prix, where it's a racetrack, and each team has to complete a certain number of laps, and each driver needs to complete a certain number of laps to show that the car is roadworthy.
How does Omaha fit into this, and HDR? Where do you come in?
Well, HDR is hosting a stage stop. You know, the kids put a lot of time and effort in it, and HDR, you know, the purpose of the race is to promote teamwork, technical excellence in engineering.
And these could be some of your future employees.
That's correct.
That's a nice way to reach out.
It's something that HDR knows a little bit about. And why did HDR, well, I guess you personally, once HDR got behind this, why did you personally want to get on board with this?
Well, my son went to University of Minnesota, and he got started on the solar
No wonder we
car.
heard about Minnesota's team a minute ago. yeah, that's cool.
But he was on the team. They came through in a race in 2008, and you know, we went up to visit him and saw how the cars were designed and built, and it's just fascinating.
Yeah, well, and you will have a chance to see these cars up close in person. We have some information to show you about the schedule. So this all starts on Friday at 2 p.m. where you can go see the cars arrive and then chat with the crews, with the teams who developed these cars. And then Saturday from 8:30 until 9:20, but the cars will start heading out at 9 a.m. So that's when the race starts on Saturday morning. And you're going to head to essentially 14th and Mike Fahey, that area at the Yard parking lot. What happens if it's cloudy on Saturday morning? Does that matter, or do they store the energy?
Yeah, in the evenings they'll charge the cars from about 7 to 9, and then or 6 to 8 or whatever the time is, and then Sunday or Saturday morning they'll also charge the batteries as long as the sun's shining. So they start out with some energy in the battery to get going, and hopefully it's sunny for them to keep going.
Right, but as they're going, it's still being powered by the sun, the direct rays, as they're traveling.
Right.
So fascinating.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming in.
Well, thanks
nice
for
to meet
having
you. We
us. Yeah,
appreciate
thanks
it.
a lot.
Well, yesterday one of our guests made what amounts to a grilled cheese sandwich wrapped in bacon.
Delicious.
And it blew us away.
It's
See how to
delicious.
make it yourself. Watch the Beer and Bacon Festival clip at omahamorningblend.com.